Good evening. Thanks for being here. I'm Troy Charles. Here are your top stories. The Ontario government is expected on Tuesday to lower the age threshold to 40 for those wanting to get an AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccination. Multiple media outlets have reported a ministry spokesperson has confirmed the decision. It comes just hours after Federal Health Minister Patty Hajdu said Canadian provinces have the go-ahead to expand the AstraZeneca rollout. Ontario recently opened AstraZeneca's doses to anyone aged 55 to 64 through pharmacies and healthcare providers. 4 pharmacies in Thunder Bay at present are taking part in the program. We'll have more on this developing story on tomorrow's NewsHour. Official opposition leader Andrea Horwath says Doug Ford has informed the NDP that they will shut down the legislature by Wednesday. Horwath and the NDP MPPs have stated they will refuse to cooperate until the Ford government has reversed some of their orders, also calling on them to pass Bill 239 to give Ontarians paid sick days, shut down all non-essential workplaces, and more support for businesses and workers affected by closures. However, Government House Leader Paul Calandra released a statement saying that is not the case. And in a telephone interview with Dougal Media, Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Judith Monteith-Farrell says the situation is ridiculous. She believes the government is trying to hide from the public. Kwetnut MPP Saul Mamakwa shared his support of his party's statement.
We have to understand that, if they keep this up, thousands of more people will die. People will get sick and lives will be lost, and we cannot have that. People need to be paid, need paid sick days, not carding. People need vaccines, not police pulling them over.
Legislature is currently scheduled to sit in until June. Emergency services and a plan to revitalize the area around Victoriaville top the agenda at tomorrow's evening's City Council meeting. Councillors are being asked to approve the expansion of the Superior North EMS Community Paramedicine Program. The service has received $6.5 million to establish a new initiative for seniors awaiting long-term care. Up to 14 staff members will operate outside of 911 emergency operations to offer 24/7 support to those who haven't been able to access an LTC bed. And Council is also being asked to adopt terms of reference for a new downtown Fort William Revitalization Advisory Committee. The city's Realty Services Manager, Joel Deputer, explains the committee's role.
There's 2 jobs. One is to help with the removal of Victoriaville project, which is a huge and complicated project that involves ultimately building new public spaces and new streetscape, and thinking about how the buildings will look, so potentially developing design guidelines so that things we can see a good result in the end, and also to determine a strategy to revitalize downtown Fort William.
Council decided back in October to demolish the mall. That's expected to cost more than $10 million, but Victoriaville currently costs the city nearly $500,000 every year to operate. Colonization Avenue has been the center of controversy in the city of Dryden, and Council is close to implementing a name change. Last summer, a viral video brought attention to the name and the impact it has on Indigenous residents and visitors. Within weeks, the city created a working circle to address potentially changing the street name. Working Circle co-chair and City Councillor Shane McKinnon says they received over 400 submissions from the public. Some first responders expressed concern for emergency response to the renamed street due to the intersecting railway. That prompted a slight change in direction.
We took that into consideration, and the proposals or the recommendation we made to City Council, in fact, was 2 names. One for the North Colonization Avenue area, being Boujou Avenue was the name of that we recommended, and the South Colonization Avenue was our recommendation was to be renamed Memorial Avenue.
McKinnon says Council has a final say on the new names, and he believes they'll be made official for June 21st, also known as National Indigenous Peoples Day. With the opioid crisis worsening amid the pandemic lockdowns, a pilot for a new overdose prevention app will come to Northwestern Ontario this spring. Lifeguard Digital Health has partnered with Norwest Community Health Centres and the District Social Services Administration Board to expand their life-saving technology into the Thunder Bay region. The Lifeguard app helps prevent drug-related deaths and provides access to mental health and addiction support. The app is activated by the user before they take their dose with a timer that lasts up to 5 minutes. If the user fails to hit the stop button, an automatic alert will be sent to EMS services. Norwest CEO Juanita Lawson believes the technology will help nurture safer and healthier communities.
It really allows individuals to engage and have the opportunity to engage with a service that hopefully will save their life. And not only is it a service that is available for individuals who use substances alone, but it also provides a number of other services that, again, sort of centralizes information.
Lawson says the app will service over 200,000 residents, expanding from the Manitoba border up to Sioux Lookout and just past Marathon. The Nokiwan Tribal Council is encouraging all their members in the community to get vaccinated and to combat vaccine hesitancy. The elected leaders of the council made a joint video with each chief sharing a personal message about the importance of protecting themselves and their community against COVID-19.
I would like to say to the people not to be afraid getting this vaccine. That's the only way that we could be able to fight this epidemic is getting your needle and moving forward.
Our brothers and sisters, please get vaccinated. It's an important life-saving tool for you. It's a life-saving tool for your family. It's a life-saving tool for your community.
The full video can be found on the Nokiwan Tribal Council's Facebook page. The possibility of the amusement rides at Chippewa Park operating this summer remains a big question mark. The CLE Family Fair has already been canceled, and city officials and the Friends of Chippewa are not confident the province will allow their rides to open, but they want to be ready in case it is allowed. Corey Nordstrom has more.
For nearly 20 months, the rides at Chippewa Park have looked similar to this, bagged up, not fully assembled, and awaiting the go-ahead from the province to start up.
Budgeted for this year, should we have the opportunity to run them. At this point, we haven't seen a regulation that indicates if that will happen or when.
The park and its century-old carousel are an annual summer tradition for many local families, but last year it was not allowed to open due to regulations brought on by COVID-19. Despite still being in the restoration process, the carousel would be open to the public if they get the okay, according to those from the Friends of Chippewa Park. Secretary and former City Councillor Ian Angus is expecting the city to have a timeline on when they would need the province to sign off.
If they don't make the decision until mid to late June, it's likely that Parks and Open Space will make the decision not to assemble the rides and operate them because of the shorter season. June is the most profitable component.
Those involved are not optimistic, but City Parks manager Corey Halverson offers some speculation on what restrictions could be in place should the province give the go-ahead.
You'd have to limit the number of users going on the ride at one time, and there'd be sanitization and cleaning requirements that would go on, and group sizes just in the general area too. And that's the challenge, right? When you have an amusement ride area, it's not about individual rides, it's about the collective size of people who are all there for that purpose. And
Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
A local filmmaker has released the first part of a documentary that focuses on the early days of the pandemic in Thunder Bay. The film covers the trials and tribulations at the onset of the pandemic and highlights how our city came together for each other in a time of need. Filmed over a period of time from late March into June of 2020, Alan Ald's latest film takes a deep dive into the early effects of the pandemic in Thunder Bay and how the city responded.
I just thought we just need to cover this and to see how Thunder Bay transitioned into the pandemic and to see how we how resilient we were and how we pivoted and turned. And there was a lot of good positive stories that came out of it. So I thought we need to showcase this.
Ald uses a mixture of interviews and scenic drone footage to tell the story. He interviewed a variety of community members, from frontline workers to first responders.
There was a few parts in there that had me a bit misty-eyed, and one of them was hearing first responders who didn't go home to their, they sent their children to their parents because they didn't want to take home the virus to the kids.
We ended up having my my little girl go stay with my parents. So instead of going there for a day here and there or out overnight, she went there the week after March break for at the time the foreseeable future.
The film also highlights the positives that came to light during the first shutdown and shows how the city rallied together.
Numerous businesses, establishments, restaurants drop us off at our workplace, at our main base at Junot. Food, beverages, smoothies, wraps, sandwiches, bakings, all kinds of stuff. We've been so fortunate. People have been actually spoiling us with lots of goods, lots of food, lots of meals. It's been fantastic. It's really very much appreciated.
Ald originally planned to release the film last summer, but the pandemic raged on, and then once again the movie's release was delayed in the fall when the second wave hit. Now, a year later, he has released part 1, and there is plans for 2 to 3 more parts to be released soon. The doc can currently be found on the Imagine Films YouTube page. Joined by the one and only Avery McCray. Avery, I had to rub my eyes a few times when I saw my Vancouver Canucks back on the ice.
And they looked pretty good in their first game back. We got those highlights when we come turn.